So while I'm sitting here waiting for my next truck, I figured I'd do an in-cab video here. This is a Cat 938 loader. It's good for doing road work, mostly pipe work. It's a pretty good sized loader. It's got a decent amount of weight so that you can handle some pretty good sized pipe and not have issues with it. So without further ado, you have your gauge cluster here in the front. It's got your coolant temperature on the left, hydraulic temperature on the right, and there's your RPMs in the middle. And then the little screen has what gear you're in, your speed, and a fuel indicator. To the left you've got your blinkers and windshield wipers. Right behind that is the tilt for the steering wheel. And then you go over here, you've got your display that gives you all sorts of information on the loader. This actually scrolls down and you have a whole variety of parameters that'll show up on there. Below it you have most of your controls. Starting here and working to the right, you've got your fork or bucket selector, which basically you can set how fine the controls are when you have your forks on, and then your bucket is what they call coarse, so it's got a fair amount of movement in the handle. Whenever you move that handle, your bucket moves pretty quick. Just to the right of that is your curl kick out, so you can automatically set this to when you curl the bucket, it will curl automatically to a preset position and stop. So that's your curl kick out. Your next one over is the boom up kick out. Next one over is boom down kick out. Again, those are presets that you can set up by holding that button whenever your boom or your bucket is at the certain position, and it will remember that. And so whenever you push the stick all the way forward or all the way back, it'll remember that kick out and it'll stop moving when it reaches that point. The next one over, this one here, is your auxiliary hydraulics. If you hold that down, any of these keys that have the little menu with the eye, if you hold them down, it'll take you, in fact we'll show you, let's see here, this is our traction control right here. So if we hold that down, it'll take you to that screen up here so that you can actually adjust. So right now we've got our rim pull set to medium high on our traction control, and we can change that if we want in the screen. So going back up here, auxiliary hydraulics, this is your fan reverse selector. This has a setting that's called fast steer or quick steer. It's disabled in this machine for whatever reason. This is your throttle lock, which you can kind of use as a cruise control. So when you're driving down the road, whatever your throttle position is at on your pedal, while you're holding that on your pedal, you'll hit that button and it will hold it. You hit it again and it'll release it. This is an information key. This is a test key that runs through the computer tests. This is your ride control or your float switch. This is your traction control. And then these are your gear selectors, so that's whatever the max gear is. And then if you select one, the information there, if you hold that down, you can actually select your top speed. We've got hydraulic lockout, parking brake, your bucket disconnect. This is your rear windshield wiper. Then you got hookups for power and for an auxiliary input for your radio. Going up top here, let's see if we can get the contrast. There we go. This has automatic mirrors, so you can switch between the two mirrors just like a car. Defroster. You have strobes, hazards. This is your external lights. These are your actual main lights. And then you have the over the cab lights, 3 sets of those. Air conditioning controls, and then your radio. So it's a pretty spacious cab. You got a fair amount of room. There's my lunch. You can see there's a fair amount of room in this cab. On this one you've got, it doesn't actually have the gear selector or the forward reverse selector by the steering wheel. It's actually just a switch on the control stick. And then around the front, let's see if you can see it, that trigger is a differential lock, so when you're going into a pile you can arm the differential and it'll help you get into a pile better. Or if you're about to get stuck and you need some extra traction, you can hit that differential lock. It's actually really handy. I've been running a Komatsu on this job as well, And this loader, when you hit that diff lock, will get out of some stuff that the Komatsu would not be able to. So So it's a nice machine. It's really comfortable. It's a lot smoother ride than the Komatsu is. It's got a lot more power. The one thing I don't like so much is the hydraulics are electric over hydraulic, so this is kind of a fly-by-wire system. So you lose all the feel in the handle. You don't have that like you do in the Komatsus, which is really nice for grading. It's nice to have that feel, but at the same time, like anything else, you run the machine long enough, you start getting used to it. So anyway, that's the overview of the in-cab for the 938.